Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Youth Dialogue, the podcast for youth by youth that is produced by World University Service of Canada in partnership with Mzuzu eHub. Today we have a very special guest, Tina. Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you, Sarah.
How are you today?
I'm fine, thanks. And how are you?
I am doing wonderfully. Thank you for asking. So to start off, if you could just give the audience a brief rundown of who Tina is, that would be wonderful. We'd like to hear about you.
All right. I'd like to believe that Tina's an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
So I would say that I'm in food and beverage right now.
Yeah.
And then graduating to entrepreneurship.
Okay.
Which I'm excited about. So yeah, there's a lot of business plans and ideas that I have going on in my head that I'll share.
Yeah.
And then I think I was to say that I'm an entrepreneur. I'm a single mom, and I'm happy about that.
Okay.
And yeah.
Okay, so that's an interesting progression from entrepreneurship to, or cooking food and beverage to agribusiness. What has that looked like for you, and what has been sort of the time frame that you've made this transition in?
Okay, so I think the transition has taken about like a space of 2 years.
Okay.
Yeah, and it wasn't like a pre-planned situation. Like I said, I started off as I started off with agribusiness.
Okay.
Yeah, because for me, I started this journey by like buying off agricultural produce from farmers and then repackage it properly and then make it look shiny.
Yes.
And then go resell. So that was done to individuals, and then later on I started selling to hotels and supermarkets and other eateries.
Right.
So that was great, and business was growing, and I was actually impressed and surprised with how the business was actually doing well.
Yeah.
And how the demand was actually pretty high.
Right.
So that was going until 2020 when COVID hit.
Yeah.
So now COVID hit, and all these places that were my customers were the ones more affected, I'd like to think.
Yeah.
So there was a real slowdown, if not a halt, to the business. And then had to go back to the drawing board and be like, okay, so what can I do to survive? Because, like I said, I don't know if I said this earlier, or I should say, for me, starting the business was to survive.
Yes.
It was a mode of survival. So it was a means to an end. So I had to be doing something.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm going to share this. I was going through a divorce, and like I mentioned, I'm a mom, so I had a child to feed and a household to sustain. So I had to do something, and I'm like, what can I do? And then that's when I started with the business.
Yes.
Yeah. So now going forward, COVID has hit, and then there's a mess up to that. I had to think, what can I do? And then I'm a natural, passionate cook. Yeah. And my friends would throw it around like, why don't you make money out of this? And at that time, because I didn't have a job, I was like, let me try this. Because good for me, if I can say, I dare say that COVID kind of helped my business. Yeah. Because people just wanted takeaways.
For sure.
And then there was also this thing where Ministry of Health was working with a group of individuals that were helping frontliners then to get food. So I got that gig where I would supply food at BNS, the stadium where was the COVID camp then. So business just started and went boom. Yeah. Like it was just going, and it was great. And so going from that, I realized that, I'm actually making extra money. I've got the capital to keep going with the catering business, but there's some money, that I'm seeing as profit. So I decided I wanted to go back to agriculture because it was great.
Yeah.
Agriculture wasn't the problem for me to stop. It was COVID.
Right.
So I was like, how do I go back? But I didn't want to go back the same way.
Yeah.
Where I was buying off of from other farmers. I wanted to produce myself. So that's how I started farming.
So what do you think it is that sort of pushed you to take that step, to sort of really go headfirst into agribusiness as an individual, as a woman, sort of taking control and being a leader in a field that is sort of predominantly dominated by men?
That's true. Actually, I was scared for the most part. Like,
Yeah.
do I know what I'm doing? But I also was like, I can do it.
Mm-hmm.
What's to stop me?
Yeah.
If the next person can do it, why not? And of course, like if you do your research, you will find that the returns are actually great if you do it right.
Mm-hmm.
So if you plant at the right time and you apply fertilizers, both fertilizers at the right time, you'll find my research was like I could make more money. Like, you know, so it was money driven.
Yes. Yeah,
To be
well,
honest. Yeah, and I saw other people doing it. I have a friend of mine. Her name is Clara. She runs her farm is called Amazing Bee
mm-hmm.
Project. She does it in Mitundu. We were in the same school. We
Okay.
went to college together, and she started the farm also going through her own personal things.
Mm-hmm.
So I think we were in the same space and she kept. I was buying things from her too.
Yeah.
She kept on saying, "You can do this. You can grow your own beans. You can grow your own soy. You can grow it." You know, so it was that where I had someone encourage me. I saw someone grow right in front of my eyes.
Yeah.
Also, the desire to do more in me,
Yeah.
to risk it. I also wanted a seat at the table.
For sure. That's amazing. And I think even you talking about this friend that you have and you also sharing your experience right now is so important, because it is so important for people, men, women, girls, boys, to see women in these positions
Right.
of empowerment, really, like taking control over your financial situation.
Yes.
And through entrepreneurship, I think
Actually,
it's a risky
that's-
field. It's impressive.
Also, my answer to your question really is, by the end of the day, I was looking for financial freedom.
Yeah.
Yeah, it goes down to that.
Yeah, and I think that is something that, you know, a lot of women and girls in Malawi, they need to see that represented.
They do.
You know?
They do, yeah.
So as of right now, you are still doing your catering as
Yes.
well as venturing into agribusiness.
Yes.
So where are you at in your business development with both of those projects, and how are you sort of balancing the two while being a single mom? That's a lot.
It's a lot, and
Yeah.
it's hard. And sometimes I catch myself in a space where I'm like, okay, I'm not balancing these things. I'll see my daughter complain like, oh, you're away all the time,
Yeah.
you're working hard, and then I have to be like, oh, I don't want this side to also like slack, because I don't want the repercussions.
For sure.
Yeah, so
Sure.
and then I have to. So I journal a lot.
Yeah.
When I write, I have to write. I have lists. That's how I go. Because if I don't, and I have to follow it. Because
Yeah.
then I have, pre-planned it.
Yeah.
So if I miss out on something, it means for sure something is gonna suffer.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's not easy to. So a way of trying to have everything in one place where I can manage.
Mm-hmm.
I'm actually, they say don't share your dreams, but I'm gonna share it.
Yeah.
It's hard to run a bar, a restaurant, and also have a whole farm
Yeah.
running. But I feel like my long-term goal is to have all these things in one place,
Mm-hmm.
like where I can manage lodging, food and beverage in one space.
I see.
Yeah, so whether in the form of a lodge or a motel or an Airbnb, along those lines. So
Yeah.
at least they're in one space, and if I'm to do stock taking, I'm doing it in one space.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm there. So that's my office space. I'm there every day.
Yeah.
And then the farm, you can plan how to manage the farm. And the reason why I thought agriculture was the right way to go was because if I'm gonna go, which I will, follow through with this dream,
Yeah.
I don't want to have to outsource. I'm gonna do my own corn, I'm doing my own
That's amazing.
grain, and
That's
then
amazing.
I have my own animals, so I am taking from the farm to the business, and then also
It's entirely
distributing.
self-sufficient.
So it's a whole set.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
That's
a long-term dream.
Wow, that's great. Okay, so
Did I answer your question?
yes.
Okay.
Yes. I think honestly the whole idea of balance, it's hard for anybody to
So
balance
hard.
work, life, especially when you're doing all of these things that you've mentioned. So I think it's important to keep your end goals in mind so that you can keep persevering.
Right.
Now I wanted to ask you about your experience, everything that you've gone through. I think that there's a whole other layer because you are a woman in these spheres. Agribusiness, entrepreneurship, like I mentioned, are predominantly dominated by men.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering if you have any specific challenges or struggles that you've experienced within these spheres to sort of try and, like you said, get your seat at the table.
Yeah. I'll be honest, if you're to even bid for, if you're applying for a bid, or you want to supply, say I want to supply goats to an organization, they want to go give them to farmers for self-reliance and, financial freedom in the rural areas. And I'm here I have 800 goats. For me as a woman to go and give my application in with everything checked.
Yeah.
If it's a man at the end of the seat that side, chances are he wants more.
Yeah.
What's in it for me?
Mm-hmm.
And if a woman is not strong and they're desperate, it's easy to fall prey to sexual harassment.
Yeah.
That's the first thing I can say as a woman. It's challenging. And then other times you're looked down upon. Oh, who does she think she is?
Yeah.
How dare she think she's that financially capable to bid for this much of, a bid?
Yeah.
And then they'll give it to another man because they trust that man better.
Yeah.
He should have more money than her.
Mm-hmm.
Or more technical know-how than her because she's a woman.
Right.
What does she know about farming?
Mm-hmm.
Because it's a man's, like you said, it's predominated by men. So things like that really can be, what's the word I'm looking for? It's dangerous to be in such a space.
Yeah.
Because you can easily succumb to that, especially if you're desperate. So there are things like that, if you're a female entrepreneur, you have to keep having to prove yourself.
Yeah.
4 times, just so you can actually get a conversation out of individuals, organizations, financiers.
Right.
And like I'm saying, also sexual harassment is real.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you're the lead and you're female, it's risky out there.
Okay.
Yeah.
So all of these challenges that you've experienced and that so many other women experience, not just in these spheres, but just on a day-to-day basis, how do you feel as though, or what advice can you give to young girls or young women who want to become entrepreneurs, who want to take part in agribusiness, but are experiencing these things? Do you have any advice or anything that you do to sort of remind yourself that you are capable and sort of fight off that inner voice that is fueled by all of these people from an external perspective who have certain visions of you or understandings of where you're coming from?
Okay. I want to take that 2 different ways.
Yes.
I feel like, first of all, to encourage young women to get into entrepreneurship should come from a young age. We should start early.
Yeah.
Because they need to know that I can do this.
Yeah.
They need to see that they're trusted and they're able. And like in Malawi, I'll give an example of Malawi, where we've got a culture where a child has to go to school, go to university, get a 9-to-5 job.
Yeah.
That's when the Malawian parents, I don't know about Africa, but Malawian parents feel like, okay, our child is needed.
Yeah.
So, like example, I was very business minded from when I was in college, but I was always discouraged.
Yeah.
Like that, you don't want to do that. You don't want to do cross-border business. You don't want to be out there, amongst men. You're surrounding yourself with men.
Yeah.
Trying to get this and that. It's dangerous. Don't do it. It's unladylike.
Yeah.
So it took. At some point I succumbed to that, and then now I look back and I regret it. I'm like, I should have just gone with my passion out of being where I wanted to be already.
Yeah.
So I would actually start from the caretakers and the parents of female children to say, raise a child that knows that I'm capable.
Yeah. Yeah.
Raise a child with the mentality that I can do what a man can do. Raise a child that's a go-getter. But that comes with what they're fed in their minds.
For sure.
Then I'll take it from me now talking to whoever is listening out there that wants to venture into whatever form of entrepreneurship that they want to.
Yeah.
It is doable. And it's never too late to start.
Yeah.
And you just need to do your homework, find people who are like-minded with you, who also have a common goal, who are going to encourage you, because we've got a lot of naysayers out there.
For sure.
And you also have to protect what you sponge into your mind. Don't just listen and feel like, oh, if they think I can't do it, then I can't do it. For me, I feel like anybody can do anything that they aspire to do.
Yeah.
And go for it. Look for what places where people are getting financial help.
Yeah.
Not just financial help. Sometimes it's not always about the money. Like for myself, I haven't received a grant from anybody or being financed or anything or seed.
Yeah.
Nothing. It's all my hard work that I'm putting in, because if I get to a place where I can attract some seed money, I want them to see that I am capable.
Yeah.
I'm not just looking for the money. I'm already putting in what's mine. So sometimes instead of quickly saying, oh, I need a financier, so because I have this business plan and it's gonna work, I feel like we should look for capacity building.
For sure.
Incubation.
Yeah.
Get to learn what you're supposed to do, so that way when you do it, it shows that this person knows exactly what they're doing.
Yeah.
So that anyone else that sees will be happy to be a part of you.
For sure.
What you're doing. I think that's what I can say.
Okay, that's amazing.
Yeah.
That's amazing. I think that's a great message to share. Speaking of incubation hubs and sort of that type of organization that supports entrepreneurs, I was wondering if you could talk a little bit about your experience with Mzuzu eHub.
Okay, so how did I get to know Mzuzu eHub? I think I've been writing up a lot of applications to mHub.
Okay, I see.
Partners.
Yeah.
It was mHub that would come up with things that interested me.
Right.
But you see, that's why I said you need to do your homework. Every time I wrote to mHub, I was writing from the catering and food business aspect.
I see.
And mHub is mostly into value addition and, agribusiness and stuff. So they do support a bit of food businesses, but I think it's things like if you want to make paste and curing.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, not exactly.
Yeah. They have their focus
cleaning.
areas.
Yes,
yeah,
focus
for sure.
areas, which I wasn't aligning with.
Yeah.
So one time I was talking to someone there, and they're like, you know what, Mzuzu Ehab has done things with people that are actually like caterers.
Yeah.
So maybe you want to like check what they're about. And the person that I spoke to was actually a beneficiary of Mzuzu Ehab.
Right.
Yeah, she had gotten a grant from Ehab, like a seed fund.
Yeah.
For her catering business. I think she was able to get a truck. She was a mobile business.
Yeah.
So they were able to get her a truck and I think some of the equipment that she needed. So I started talking to her about the incubation period. So like I was saying, I'm based in Ilongwe, they're based in Mzuzu. So I can't become an incubatee because they are in a different city.
Yeah.
So what I do is I just learn from them. I went there directly and said, you know what? I understand that I can't be an incubatee.
Yeah.
But I want to learn from you because I feel you're the appropriate organization for me because you deal with entrepreneurs. So I literally just imposed myself on them and said, you know what, I want to learn. So I get the what they're doing, the information that they give out, they share information with me.
Yeah.
Like, this is what you could do. This is what we're dealing with. The people that we're incubating. So they're kind enough to share that information, although they can't take me under their wing.
Yeah.
And that's why I was able to attend AfriLabs under them, you know, under their lead. And I still look forward to like maybe someday I'll get a chance to actually be a part of something that they do.
Yeah, they do a lot of they do great things.
Yeah. And that's our relationship. It's a nice relationship. It's
weird.
We're not together, but we see each other.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, beautiful. That's awesome. Okay, I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah.
So
very impactful in my entrepreneurship journey.
For sure.
Very.
So based on everything you've said, I know you sort of entered this sphere. You mentioned from a standpoint of making ends meet and as a way to survive, as a single parent, recently divorced, and then, you know, the ups and downs of working in business, COVID, all this stuff. I want you to talk to me a little bit about resilience and how you have persevered, because I think especially when you're reliant on these opportunities to make ends meet, how do you sort of apply a growth mindset and stay resilient throughout this whole, how have you stayed that way throughout this process?
I did. I fell a number of times.
Yeah,
it wasn't easy. Like I said, COVID was a blessing and a curse. And there could be times where there's no business. So it means you're surviving on what you already got, and that's what's in the bank. And then you can see it going, you're just taking, and the uncertainty of like, where is the next, you know, income coming from?
Yeah.
And, honestly, I don't really I don't have an idea of how I actually did it.
Yeah, you just did it.
Going, because I knew that giving up was not an option. So mainly it was, I kept looking for opportunities.
Yeah.
I was always looking.
Yeah.
I would go. I was always advertising. I made a lot of noise.
Yeah.
On social media, because now social media was where everybody was at, since you couldn't be physically around each other.
Yeah.
So I talked a lot about my business. I posted a lot of pictures, and I made sure that I knew where like I said, I'd go to hospitals more. This is what I'm doing.
Yeah.
I've got this package going for, either caretakers or frontliners, because you couldn't even feed patients at that time. So it was really carrying on, like you're saying, just staying afloat and discipline.
For sure.
Yeah. discipline, like knowing you had to have capital,
Yeah.
knowing you had to have the money to keep you going, to eat, to feed, to go, and kept looking for opportunities. And I mean, I'm just hoping that things will get better. There really wasn't anything magical about it.
Yeah. Okay, thank you for speaking on that. I think as a woman who has persevered so much and experienced the struggles, experienced the ups and downs, do you have any final remarks that you want to make just about your experience as a female entrepreneur, as a single mother, to the listeners of this podcast?
All right. Yeah, I'll start as a single mom. There are times when I don't want to get out of my bedroom. I don't want to work. I don't want to pick up calls, and I know the calls I'm missing could be a business opportunity because I'm spent, I'm tired, I'm frustrated, and sometimes I feel like I keep hitting a wall. I don't have a breakthrough. And then I look at my little girl and I'm like, she's watching this. And she sees this. And I want her to feel safe and secure. I want her to grow up in a home that's not lacking basics. And I want her to one day, look back and say, Mom made it happen. And it makes me get up. I get up, I shower, or not shower, just dress up and go. Because she's a drive for me. She's also strength because I don't want to fail her as a mom. And I also, like I said earlier, I also want to, through my own experience, teach her that being a woman is not a limitation. You can do it. You can go after your dreams and you can get them done. Nobody promised that it will be easy, but you can do it.
Tina, that's beautiful.
Thank
and
you.
I just want to let you know that it's like everything that you're doing, you're not just showing your daughter, but you're showing everyone. Seriously, it's amazing what you're doing. So not just as a mother, but just congratulations.
Thank
honestly.
You. Thank you.
And
as an entrepreneur, being a female entrepreneur, I'm proud of the fact that I can say that I have never had.
Jeez, these interruptions.
You're gonna have fun editing this.
Oh, I am.
That's silly.
Oh.
Okay. Yeah, I'm proud of the fact that no one can stand up and say she got started the wrong way. No one can say she pretends to be solid. But she's been into fisher business. Which I'm very proud of because it's so hard, like I said earlier, to stay correct, to stay straight. It's easy to just be like, I'm going to go this way. I'm going to, get myself involved in fisher business. Or like I said, the way that women are getting money these days is just to sleep around. And I'm glad that I've managed to stay afloat. I'm not where I want to be. I know I'm getting there, but I'm not also where I was. And I see tremendous growth, and I see the confidence that has come from the growth and the ability to stay, in business and not. I mean, you fall, you stand, but the fact that I'm still here, I am so proud of myself. And I'm also an example that it can be done.
For sure. And I think it's so important to recognize how far you've come and what you have accomplished.
It wasn't easy. And it's still not easy.
No.
But when I see organizations like EU, like partners, I see big organizations inviting me to be a youth representative for the whole country.
Yeah.
I've sat in panels where I was representing Malawi youths, at I've been invited for policy making meetings, and my comments were valid, and when I see the recognition, I'm like, if someone told me this 5 years ago, I would not believe it. If someone said the EU would want you to be on their panel as a youth representative for the whole country, I'd have been like, no, stop. But I've done that, and I'm here, and I'm recognized by the people that I see that are important, and I appreciate that. So I'm really excited to, grow into agriculture and see where that will take us. I have dreams to, get into proper value addition. Like I told you, have a place where we're actually producing bacon, biltong, where we're exporting. My dreams are as far as exporting. And that's the dream. That's the end goal.
That's amazing.
Thank you.
Okay, Tina.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for joining.
Thank you.
I appreciate it so much. This has been wonderful.
Thank you. I hope I've been impactful.
No, you've been more than impactful. I just want you to know that you have spoken beautifully on your experience, and I am so happy for how far you've come, and I look forward to keeping in touch and hearing more about your future endeavors.
I'll be here.